And we're continuing our show with an in-depth interview about the upcoming elections in Poland and the regional security here in the New Europe. My guest tonight is Chris Gotowski. Welcome, Chris. You are an expert and analyst in international relations and especially in the region. I'm happy that you joined us. Let's start right away with the very important question. How terrified of Belarus are you from 1 to 10, where 10 is terrified?
0. That's the truth. I mean, like 1, okay, you said 1 to 10, so 1, I'd say.
1, okay.
Yeah.
You don't see it as a problem, what's happening now?
It's a problem. It's a problem, but I don't actually personally feel that there should be too much cause for concern. Reasons. A, Belarusian economy is a Mickey Mouse economy, okay?
I agree.
Let's say that straight up, right? Exactly. So it's a weak economy. They have a weak army. So that first and foremost. But you're right. As far as scariness, yes, because what's happening, because of what happened, the rigging of the election, because of Belarus becoming de facto occupied by Russia, Wagner's involvement in the country and their bases there, of course we have to look at Belarus, definitely. This is for sure. But I would say just in general that I'm not too concerned about Belarus. I think the West should get tougher with Belarus. That's a different point.
How? How tougher?
Well,
will they send tanks?
No tanks. No, definitely not, no tanks. But okay, first of all, sanctions. I mean, like, that could be just an easy one right there. Now, another thing that's a little bit controversial, I'm sure the European Union would not like this, but closing the borders.
Yeah, wow, that would be good. No more spies in Poland.
That's right.
I'm surprised with the amount of spies they find here every week.
Yeah.
Can you comment on that?
I don't know how many, but apparently there's loads. Apparently there's more and more over the past while, especially since 2002. This is something that could really hurt Belarus big time. Also indirectly Russia as well. Close the borders. Not only Poland, Lithuania and Latvia as well.
Okay.
There are talks about this, but they're saying they're only going to do this if Belarus follows through with its threats. They're going to send mass migrants, on purpose to the border again.
Do you think Prigozhin and the Wagner group will be sent to Poland in some way as, I don't know, as refugees?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
How fast do you think the Polish army will put into dust the Prigozhin's army?
If actually push came to shove?
Yeah.
Right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
How
they wouldn't hesitate for a second, I think.
Polish army has been increasing its numbers from 170,000 people to 300 something-ish.
With a plan of 300,000, yeah.
Do you think it's necessary?
Yes, I do. I think it's the right approach. Poland's taking its defense very seriously right now. They're on a spending spree. From U.S. weapons, South Korean weapons. As you said correctly, they're expanding the army to 300,000. That's the game plan right now. I think it's absolutely the right thing to do given the geopolitical situation, given the situation what's happening in Ukraine, Belarus as well. I think it's the right approach, certainly.
Now coming to Polish elections and how this will affect the region, actually, the New Europe that we call it. PiS is fighting with the opposition coalition. Is that correct?
That's right, that's right. Polls have narrowed over the past couple of years and over the past few months. PiS is winning in the polls, of course, by a handful of percent, probably 3–4%.
I'm going to give you money. Who would you bet on this time?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put it this way. I hate to say it, but I think that PiS will get the most votes.
Okay.
But, this is very important, but they won't get a majority. That would be a big change from the past 8 years.
How will it affect the Ukraine-Polish relationships if they will win, but they will not have the majority?
I don't think it will change anything because in Parliament, for example, anything that will be passed as far as, say, weapons deliveries to Ukraine or financial aid or what have you, the opposition will support PiS as a minority in that respect. Of course, there's a chance that the opposition will form a technical government, so they'll get majority in Parliament with the whole opposition. There's a chance, slim chance. The most likely scenario is that the third party in Parliament, well, not Parliament, third party in the polls, rather, Confederation, that they're going to be maybe as a coalition with PiS or indirect coalition.
What do you think is the construct that will benefit the U.S. the most? As you say, they say Ukraine is a puppet of the U.S., and so what if Poland is the puppet of the U.S.? So let's assume that is true. So what would be the construct that would really fit Joe Biden's agenda?
Well, I think that Joe Biden maybe would prefer if the coalition, civic coalition, would win the election and have a government with a coalition bloc of the left-wing parties or the centrist parties. I think they would prefer that. That being said, when it comes down to military ties, relations vis-a-vis Ukraine, Joe Biden actually likes peace in that respect. So it has to be said. Poland's been buying a lot of weapons under peace from the United States. A lot of those HIMARS, the Hausners.
Patriots? Yeah, I've been to Rzeszów, I saw that.
Yeah, the tanks, Abraham tanks. So there's huge sales going on with regard to that. So I think in that respect, relations are going to be good either way with the States. But on a personal level, probably Joe Biden and the Democrats would prefer the opposition to win. That being said, who knows what's going to happen in the United States?
That's the next question. Who would you bet on, Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Is it like what I want, or it's how it's going to be?
I think it's how it's going to be. Although it is worrisome for me personally that the more court cases Trump has, the higher his support is. Yeah.
Let's delve into the area a little bit. I want to do the poll with you. Okay. Yeah. Let's start first with Prigozhin. What is the feeling about Prigozhin's failed coup in Russia?
I think it was, first of all, a huge shock to begin with, like everywhere. Everybody was shocked about
that it was happening, or it was over?
That it was over so quickly, I think.
Okay.
That it happened to begin with, shock. That it happened, that it ended so quickly, also shock. But I think that in Poland in general, people were surprised that even it came down to something like this, right? I mean, here was Russia saying how mighty they are, and then Prigozhin just kind of walking through the whole country almost. But on the other hand, all jokes aside, it shows also how unstable the situation is in Russia.
Right.
So I think it was a kind of mixed bag in Poland, the feeling that on one hand, people were supporting that, okay, it's getting a little bit crazy, Russia could get weakened, sure, good. On the other hand, what the heck is going on?
Do you think some Polish oligarchs would have their private armies?
There is no real Polish oligarchs, to be honest. Unlike the other countries in Central Eastern Europe, Poland actually didn't have real oligarchs. But you're talking about, say, the richest people in the country. I don't think that's in anybody's interest, to be honest, to be frank with you.
Let's go to tougher things.
Yeah.
Barbie or Oppenheimer?
I want to see Oppenheimer on Saturday.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, so
yeah.
In my opinion, Oppenheimer, of course, wins. Yeah. But you will tell me that later.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on forward. Do you think Polish troops will ever fight in Ukraine?
I'd say no. I'd say no.
Would you elaborate?
I would say that for the time being, I think the formula that Poland is involved in the United States, etc., as much military aid as possible, supporting Ukraine financially, giving logistical support, intelligence support, and letting the Ukrainians do the job that they're doing very, very well. I think that's what, it's kind of, I'd say, similar kind of, U.S. relationship with Israel.
Chris, how do you think, what and how shall Ukrainians do to get the F-16s?
Well, I think it's the same story over and over and over again since the war started, restarted actually in February, right, in 2022. Ukraine demands something, says they need it, the West rejects it, the West starts debating it, the West agrees on it, and then way down the line,
so we're going to need time.
Ukraine will get them.
Let's see Eastern European countries, which are nearby Poland.
Yeah.
Let's try ranking their level of quality relationships with Poland at the moment,
okay,
and how it might be affected by the election results. Let's start from the Baltic states and then go a bit down.
Okay, the Baltic states have very good relationship with Poland right now, and will after the elections, regardless who wins. Hungary, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to call it Orbania. How does it look?
I think that's fair enough to say. Okay. I like that. So Orbania, let's call that?
Orbania, yeah.
Orbania, Hungary. So peace had very good relations with Hungary over the past 8 years.
Huh.
Kaczynski even said, we want a Budapest and Warsaw. That was his famous statement initially. By that, he meant that he wanted to turn the system around the way Hungary did.
Okay.
Relations were very, very good until February 2022. They soured a bit, albeit they would get way worse, I think, if the opposition won. And if the opposition forms even a technical government, or if peace is in the minority in the government, relations with Hungary, I think, will deteriorate. Or maybe not fully, but they will get worse. I could bet on that. As far as with Czech Republic and Slovakia, they're good. I think they're as good as they could be right now. Everything's fine. I think it's solid. I think potentially maybe they could be a little bit better with opposition as far as relations with Czech Republic. But in general, they're good. I would say that there's nothing really going wrong.
What about Germany? Will you pay the reparations?
No, they won't.
Will you be paid?
No, we won't. We won't, for sure. In relations with Germany, how they'll be affected, I think they'll be a little bit better when the opposition, if the opposition wins, than they are now. Although, it has to be said, relations are actually good with Germany. This is kind of all for show. Peace does this kind of stuff. You know, like they talk about reparations before elections. They complain about Germany, this and that. But in reality, relations are pretty good. That being said, I think it has to be pointed out that a lot of countries, not only in Central Eastern Europe, have been disappointed with Germany.
Yeah, that's to say at least, I'd say.
Yeah, I think they've been very disappointed.
From 1 to 10, how disappointed are you with Germans?
I'd say very disappointed. I'm very disappointed because...
Like 9?
I don't know if up there, but...
Okay.
But high, because I would say that, you know, Germany is Europe's largest economy, fourth largest economy in the world. They could and they should do more regarding Ukraine.
In the very end, when Poland will become one of the major countries of the world, when it will happen, by the way?
Well, I think that Poland actually, over the past handful of years, has really developed a lot over the past 20 years or so. Now,
will you rule the world?
No, we won't. We don't want to.
You don't want to?
No, we don't want to.
Okay.
But I think, you know, with Poland's economy developing, with military expenditure and development in the military sphere increasing, I think Poland has an opportunity to be more at the heart of Europe. And I think that actually over the past years, with peace being in power, that kind of hindered the process. Because Poland had that opportunity when the UK left the European Union to kind of be the next one in line.
So be it. And then you'll Germany with this.
I wouldn't go as far as that, but yeah.
Chris Gotowski was our guest tonight. We're gonna see you in a moment. And that's about time that we have today. Thank you, Chris Gotowski, and thank you all for joining us, wherever you are. And thank you for spending some time with us here at the European Edge. And please remember, like, share, tweet, TikTok us on social media. And until next time, my name is Andriy Suslenko. See ya.